Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Friends You Can Keep podcast, big episode 141. I took a drink right before recording this, so I don't have to take a drink right now. A little behind the scenes inside joke for everybody. Point of discussion that I wanted to start off with. I wanted to talk about this before and totally forgot about it. Don't know what made me remember it. I think it was in the Lost Bros group, which are, if you're looking for Disney shirts, if you're Disney people, check out the Lost Bros. Shameless plug for them. They don't sponsor the show. They could if they wanted to. Great shirts, but they had something up about, I don't know if it was a ride closing. It might have been about the rock and roller coaster thing. I forget what it was exactly about that made me think of it. And it made me think, I thought a good point of discussion for the show would be, and I'll talk about mine, obviously, but to say, like, if you had to pick, if you had creative control over a ride that is no longer there, or refurbished, like changed, I should say. So either it doesn't exist anymore, like it's gone completely.
Or a ride that got overlaid.
Or it has been rethemed in some way.
Like Splash Mountain Tiana kind of a thing.
If you had to pick one to either revert to the original or bring back from the dead, what would be your top pick?
Mr. Toad's Wild Ride.
I'm sure there's a lot. Now, your serious pick, because that's a joke. There's no way you're bringing back Mr. Toad and Magic Kingdom in 2025.
Why not? It's Alien Extraterrestrial.
Again, why would you?
That ride was so much fun.
Was it?
They need to bring it back. Or bring back Stitch then. It was the shittier version, but bring that back.
I'm thumbs downing both of those. I mean, you can have that pick.
I would pick Mr. Toad. I love that ride. But I guess
Hey, you rode once, and you're not confident you even rode it.
No, I did. Twice. I rode both of them. The one in Florida and the one in Disneyland. Mm. Yeah, we rode it because my mom's like, you don't remember it because you hid in the bottom of the car the whole time.
Makes sense.
I do think... I don't know, because I don't feel very, like...
Well, it doesn't have to be, like, a nostalgia thing or, like, you're mad about it. But just, like, I didn't know if there's one that you liked a lot that is either gone... Or like, oh, I really liked, like, Splash Mountain's not different. It's just rethemed. But like, oh, I really loved the Song of the South theming.
No, I kind of really like... I mean, like, I like the old version, but I like when they imagine them or, like, update them. Because I think that's the whole point of the parks. Like, it'll never be done.
I should have said even an attraction.
I do think that they should find a way
Attractions, period, is what I should have said. Because there's, like, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire is no longer there. The American Idol thing is... But I'm saying in general. The Drew Carey show they did is no longer there. The Doug show they did is no longer there.
Although, like, Hollywood Studios isn't that anymore. But I liked the backstage tour when they went through, like, Catastrophe Canyon. Was that one?
Yeah.
Like... The special effects portion of it, I know it doesn't necessarily fit in with the theme of that park anymore.
I don't like what Hollywood Studios has become. That's just me. Like, I didn't think we were going to get this deep into Disney, but I don't like what it's become. There was a time in my life where 100% easily Hollywood Studios was my favorite park. Because of course it was.
Yeah, but, like, because you like the movie stuff.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, I don't care for the fact that we have completely moved away from that.
I guess it just wasn't working. People didn't care anymore.
Well, no, I think it's just that's where everywhere went. It was never really a functioning movie studio, but it stopped being a movie studio, period, for both live action and animation. They stopped doing anything there to make movies. And then Universal kind of moved away from that. And
don't they still have their backstage tour?
I don't know if the one in Florida does. I think so, but
I don't know.
It's not what it used to be. But there again, they moved on to these stupid and I don't know if that was a Disney thing who started that, or I don't know who started it, but that whole, like, Universal, or not Universal, the immersive lands.
Well, Universal had them.
Like, I don't care.
Seussical Land was very immersive.
I get people...
So they might have been first.
I get people love it. I don't care. I don't need to go to Galaxy's Edge and, like, oh, I look around. I don't know that I'm anywhere else. I feel like I'm right in the middle of a Star Wars movie. Like, no, I don't. I know I'm in Florida. I know none of this is real. I know right behind that building is fucking Toy Story Land. Like, it's just so dumb.
Well,
I
I
don't
think
get
it's just
it.
because that was like the next step. Rides weren't enough anymore.
Well, my point, it's not a matter of, like, I do get it. But my big gripe is, and I'm sure we've talked about it on the show, Galaxy's Edge was fucking boring. And, like, maybe it's because I'm not super into Star Wars. Like, I enjoy the movies. Some of them. And, like, I've watched The Mandalorian. I watched the Book of Boba Fett. But, like, that market is so oversaturated. It's not even funny.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with Star Wars Land.
But no, my point I'm getting to is I'm not super into it. So maybe that's the problem. But, like, you go into Galaxy's Edge and I'm like, this is dull. It's great detail-wise, so artistically it's nice to go and walk through, but, like...
There's really nothing to do.
There's no good merchandise because it's all just, like, cosplay shit. Which, like, I get it. You're in the world of Star Wars. This is an immersive experience. But, like, you don't sell Star Wars merch really anywhere else. So you really missed an opportunity here to sell regular shit that people are going to wear on a daily basis. Well, I'm not walking around every day in fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi's robe.
We were looking for, like, a child's...
We were looking for anything.
Type of thing. Well, we were trying to get a gift.
Yeah. But we got to a point where we were looking for anything. And I'm like, I don't want a cosplay, like, robe or a cosplay lightsaber or these weird... I don't want all this cosplay shit.
It was weird that, like, that was every single stand.
Every single stand.
Like, I understand why you have that, but...
Like, it was...
Don't you have other...
It was just weird.
Because I feel like they didn't even really have, like, a Star Wars pin or...
No.
Like,
I would have preferred it. I feel like back in the day... And this isn't just Disney, this is everywhere. Back in the day, you would have done a park like that. And it would have been kind of tongue-in-cheek. Where, like, you're there because you know who the people of Star Wars are. You are in Galaxy's Edge. You know who Luke Skywalker is. You know who Han Solo is. So, in a bit of a tongue-in-cheek way, you would have had merchandise, like, with their faces on it.
Right.
And it would have been this whole thing of, like, oh, well, in here, they're celebrities. Like, it's not a shirt with Harrison Ford's face on it. That's a shirt with Han Solo's face on it. Like, that would have been what they would have done back in the day. But now it's this whole, like, I am a nerd, but, like, overly nerd idea of...
I'm not sure that...
Because I'm into the whole, like, build your own droid and build your own lightsaber. Like, that's cool. I get it. But how many of those fucking bathrobes are you really throwing off the shelves?
Well, and that's what I'm wondering. Like, are people really look... Because I think the answer is no.
Well, and are people buying them? Sure, but, like, you have a lot of them in Galaxy's Edge. Are people really... Are those flying off the shelves?
Yeah, obviously they're selling them. Cause
I doubt it.
It's just... I feel like they sort of missed the mark. The other issue was, like, I'm sure the cantina is cool, but, like...
Yeah, when we went, everything was full. So we didn't go into Uga's Cantina. We didn't go into... We
didn't go on any of the rides, but we weren't intending to.
There was somewhere else, too, I think. Well, no, we walked into Uga's Cantina, but we didn't stay. We just did, like, a walk in and walk out, because there was nowhere to go. It was so packed.
Yeah. And I think it's like that all the time. Because you have to make a reservation even at lunchtime.
It's one of those things that, like, that's what everybody talks about. Everybody talks about that. Everyone talks about Rise of the Resistance.
We did walk around a lot.
And everyone talks about the Millennium Falcon. That Millennium Falcon ride, I feel like people will stop talking about, which leads you to believe it's not actually that great of a ride. But people talk about Rise of the Resistance and Uga's Cantina. I'm like, cool. So you built an entire section of a theme park, and people talk about two things, and that's it. No one talks about anything else.
I assume there's also, like, some sort of show or something.
Well, the Stormtroopers walk around.
Yeah.
And they do stuff like throughout Galaxy's
And they
Edge.
do something over by the Millennium Falcon.
Yes.
But, like, who knows?
Well, and they still have, well, at least when we were there last, they still have that show over by Star Tours. Not anymore.
Mm-mm.
The
Not
Jedi Academy or whatever.
No, they don't do that anymore since they opened that new thing. They don't walk up the middle anymore.
No, but I'm pretty sure the Jedi Academy still takes
No.
place outside of...
No, I don't think so.
Because they bring kids up on stage. They definitely
No.
did it when we were there.
When I ran.
No.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Tony was there for one of them.
No. Mm-mm, because they don't...
I'm pretty sure he was. The first time Tony went, I'm pretty sure they did it still.
We didn't see it. Because the last time we saw it was... We were in Starbucks. We were in line at Starbucks and they walked up through.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about them walking up through the
But
park.
that's when they do the... And when they get to the end is when they do their little Star Wars Academy thing. Where the kids come up.
No. They're two completely separate things.
Well, they don't do... I don't think they do
the
either of them.
The Jedi Academy outside of Star Tours is a wholly...
For kids.
Yeah, but it's a show they just do. It doesn't...
I don't
coincide at all with the stormtroopers walking up and down
I'm pretty sure they don't do that
Hollywood
anymore.
Boulevard. I don't know.
Because they can't be outside their...
But back to my whole thing of Hollywood Studios used to be my favorite park.
The point of that was, what ride would I bring back?
Yeah, and you said yours.
Yeah, and you don't...
I'm getting to mine.
You don't agree with mine. You won't allow me to bring back...
No, I said...
Alien.
I said I allow... Your picks are fine. Your picks are yours. I'm not going to tell you you can't... Like, I just don't agree with your picks.
They're great rides.
Mr. Toad, I'm fine with. I don't see the point in 2025. It's also the exact same ride as Winnie the Pooh. They just changed the theming, but...
The Winnie the Pooh ride is so boring.
Because it's a dark ride that just takes you through the many adventures of Winnie the Pooh.
But it literally doesn't...
It's the same way that Peter Pan is boring, and Snow White
But at
was
least
boring. And
Peter Pan is different, and Snow White was terrifying.
Snow White's was terrifying, whatever it was called. I forget what the name of that ride was.
No.
Scary Adventures.
No.
I'll tell you
I
in a
wanted to
second.
say it was Enchanted, but that's Enchanted Tales with Belle.
I'll tell you in a second.
I don't know what the Peter Pan... Oh, Peter Pan's Flight
Walt Disney World.
is what that one...
Snow White ride.
Like Peter Pan's...
Snow White's Scary Adventures.
Oh.
I thought so.
It was very scary.
Oh, yeah. It was very
But-
scary. And I rode it like one of the last years it was there. And it was still scary.
I remember going on Peter Pan. Did we go on Snow White in 2015 or was it closed already?
The Scary Adventures one?
Mm-hmm.
No, it was closed already.
Because we went on Peter Pan because it was
they
like
closed that before they opened the Mine Train.
the Mine Train. But that opened after 2015. Oh yeah, but it would have been yeah. Yeah, because they used some of the
dwarves and stuff, the animatronics, yeah. But so Hollywood Studios was my favorite park. That being said, I would love for them to have kept the backlot tour.
They needed to update it or
I didn't care that it stayed exactly the same until you went through like the props in the costume department and then nothing else changed. Like all the outside stuff, it was always the car.
Yeah, well,
it was
that's
always the
fine.
car
That's
from
fine.
Herbie. It was always Walt's plane. Like everything. Catastrophe Canyon did not change. It
Although-
did not matter. It was my favorite ride. I loved it. That being said, I don't know that I would bring it back because
it just doesn't really fit. But
it doesn't fit anymore.
The
If I
shame of
would
it is-
bring anything back, which it still doesn't fit really, I would bring it back. It needed to be massively updated. Massively updated. I 100% would bring back the Great Movie Ride.
over the train,
Yes.
you want to get rid of the train or you want to move?
I wouldn't care if they put the runaway railway somewhere else.
Or
But-
like
100% I would choose the Great Movie Ride. Updated the Great Movie Ride.
it's weird because like they could have the back lot like where they did the Catastrophe Canyon. I just thought that was so fun because you got to see like so many special effects all
Yeah.
in one. And like if they could have found a way to then also do some like movie scenes like within that ride, you could have combined those. But like, you definitely need to update the movies.
What's so
you
strange...
You can use some old ones because it's fun.
What's even stranger to me with the Great Movie Ride is when it opened, and throughout the years, like, it was just, like, contractual stuff that Michael Eisner did. They didn't own that stuff at the time. But then,
they never did.
But then, like, till you get into the modern era, Disney owns so much now.
Yeah.
Of, like, why didn't you ever overhaul that ride?
Because it was probably so expensive.
Not really, because you wouldn't have the change.
Well, no.
I'm sure it's the exact same thing. Well, maybe not. Maybe not the exact same thing, but I'm sure it's similar to why they haven't changed Stitch and Alien.
No, but they did.
Because of the building.
But they did change it to make it the Runaway Railroad.
Yes, but my point was, like, did they not change it ahead of time? Well, no, because they didn't tear the whole building down, so that wouldn't have been that issue.
That's what I mean. That's what I was thinking.
So
like, could they
I don't
not?
understand. And you closed it to change it to the train. So why wouldn't you have closed it and added in? You now own outright Star Wars. You now own outright The Muppets. You now own outright everything 20th Century Fox ever made. Like,
and you have a lot of...
And I get it. The other dumb thing is you need to tell Universal to go fuck themselves and buy out of this contract that you can't put Marvel shit in the parks.
Yeah, but you should have used those movies in there.
It is incredibly stupid to me that you own an entire IP and you can't do shit with it.
Just not yet. They'll be able to.
Not ever.
Yeah, eventually they'll be able to.
No, they will not. When you look it up, that contract essentially has no end date.
I'm sure
for
it
their
will
use
eventually.
For their use of Marvel characters in Universal Studios. What I don't understand is, too, from what I've seen, and I could be totally wrong, I haven't read the contract, whatever, but stuff I've seen says, like, Universal owns the comic book rights to these characters. So why are you not just using the movie ones that you've already made? Like, they're not...
I don't know.
They're not wholly the same.
It could be because of the names. Because the names are from the comic book.
Then just don't use the names.
Wait, this 8-legged kid? What are you going to do?
What do you mean, what are you going to do?
It's going to be very awkward because you're never refer to them. It's just as like he and she.
Call him Peter Parker.
You can't because that name is in the comic books.
I don't know.
It's probably so bizarre.
I also saw that, and again, this is probably incorrect, that they don't own all. Like, Universal doesn't have the rights to all of Marvel's comic book people. So, like, why aren't you using the ones they don't own the rights to?
Because they're holding out.
Because I will tell you, with this whole overhaul of Animal Kingdom, I think it is the stupidest thing that if you have the ability to use Black Panther, you would not have put a Wakanda section in Animal Kingdom.
I'm sure they will eventually, but like for something like the Great Movie Ride, you want to use your
You've got all that IP sitting in your feet, and what do? You just build a fucking Avatar section of Animal Kingdom.
Like, you would want to use
the whole ride wouldn't be that.
Your real movies.
But the whole ride wouldn't be that.
No.
But that's my point, because it was all, like, you had your scenes with the cowboy or the gangster or whatever one you got.
Yeah.
But, like, they had different set pieces and costumes, like, in different parts of the movie. So you have your Marvel stuff, you can have your Star Wars stuff, your Indiana Jones, like, different stuff that they outright own. That's more, like, your heavy hitter IP. That's what your fillers are. Because easily, like, where the scene, which they own Alien now, you could have kept the fucking scene from Alien in there. Or you could have changed it to something else. Put some Doctor Strange shit in that ride.
But, like...
Make it real trippy.
They could have found it, but it doesn't really fit in anymore, I guess. Because it's not, like, movie-centric anymore.
Well, that's why my point was to change it with the IP they own. Because now you've gone into Hollywood Studios. Well, it still does fit. Because Hollywood Studios, while it is no longer about, like, Hollywood.
The making of the movie.
It's not about Hollywood and cinema and, like, old Hollywood. Now it's really, that park is kind of a celebration of Disney's IP and Disney's
they're
movies. It's a celebration.
Well,
of
and
movies
they're
more so because you've got Toy Story Land and you've got Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah.
But if I had to choose one thing to bring back, it'd be the Great Movie Ride.
I did enjoy it.
I think because I shared it on Instagram. There was that slideshow from one of those people that sells Disney merch. And it was different pictures from Disneyland and Disney World that had, like, this is where my lore begins or whatever the thing is. Yeah. And all the Disney World ones hit for me because, like, that's what it was. We've gone to Disney so much since I was a kid, and I read all these books about Walt Disney and Disney World and everything else. But when I got to the slide, that was you're on the ride and you're going through, like, the movie theater marquee. And it was like, this is where my lore began. I'm like, that fucking hit hard. I don't know why.
That much, but
I don't know why, but like, well, I think just because that's what, like, of all the facets of my personality that have changed from when you're a kid to when you're an adult, like, Disney and movies have never left me. Like, I'm still as obsessed with movies as I was when I was a kid, as I am today.
Maybe they will bring the Great Movie Ride back.
They won't. Where are they going to put it?
Or something similar. I don't know.
It won't. It'll never come back.
I don't think the backlot tour is still there.
No, it's Galaxy's Edge.
Is any part of it still there?
No, because it's Galaxy's Edge.
Oh, is that whole
area? Because it was Lights, Motors, Action. Where you used to go, like, out where Walt's plane and the Love Bug, that's where they put Lights, Motors, Action.
Oh, I thought that was open.
And then you came out in front.
The backlot tour, they were open at the same time, weren't they?
They were not, no.
Oh.
No, because that's where Lights, Motors, Action was where the backlot tour was.
Well, yeah, part of it.
Yeah, it wasn't the whole thing, but... Yeah, because you came around, when you came in from that section of the park, it was just the facades of those buildings still. There was nothing there. And they got rid of, like, a big chunk of it and had that big open walkway in front of the entrance.
When
and then
did
you went into
Lights, Motors, Action open?
Not a clue.
Because the first time I ran the marathon, part of it, when you came through Hollywood Studios, you ran, like, when you would go under that little underpass and... like, to your left was the costumes, and you could watch, like, the seamstresses, like, fixing costumes or whatever. There was stuff in there, but it wasn't...
Closed permanently in 2014 was the backlot tour.
Oh, so when we ran through there, that ride was still operating.
Lights, Motors, Action, Hollywood Studios.
So that's not right.
Ran from 2005 to 2016.
But they did change.
They changed the backlot tour.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you know what? It did use a section of the backlot tour. I do remember this now. Because the big open area in front of the entrance to the backlot tour, to the entrance to Lights, Motors, Action, the car for the backlot tour would come through that big open area in the front.
So it was like part of it, but it...
Yeah. They cut a section. They cut a big section of the backlot tour out and made it
because
Lights, Motors, Action.
They cut that backlot tour like several times because it used to be like
they kept getting it smaller and smaller and smaller, and then eventually
if they brought something back,
it ran like every other Saturday, which was such a fucking kick in the balls.
And that's probably why when we ran, because I ran in 2012 and 2013, it may have not been operational every day. And also, like,
that frustrated me the most about the closure of that ride, because we would get there,
we would dragged it out for
we would
so long.
check in on Sunday and then check out Saturday morning, and we drove, so we left like immediately Saturday morning, so we never rode it,
right? Because
we rode it whenever, and then it was just closed all the time, and then it's like, oh, we're running it. It was like every Saturday or every other Saturday, and it's like, oh, so there's no chance in hell that I'll ever be able to ride this again because we're never here on a Saturday.
It's weird that they picked the weekend, but I guess they figured, like, that's their busier.
That's their highest thing. You would have thought you would have run it, like, Friday and Saturday. Or something. Like, run it.
Yeah.
Why are you running it? Just close the fucking thing. Why are you running it one day every other week? Like, what the fuck is the point?
Like, your people who stay for a week are probably checking in Sunday,
Yeah.
Like,
people that are staying there aren't...
But at the time it was closing, it was not a hot commodity. So.
No. Well, that's why I said just close it. Like, why? What was the point?
Yeah.
Why did you pay people to maintain and operate that ride once every week? Once every other week? That's just dumb.
I'm sure it was like, well, we'll just leave this. It's cheaper for us to just do it this way than to get rid of it.
If I had to save anything that's not yet gone, Muppet Vision 3D.
Well, I mean, yeah, you could count it because it's basically
fuck that villain show that I will give.
Oh no, I know what I bring back. I
will give that villain show a chance, but it looks dull as hell.
It looks
that
weird.
Show immediately looks like I will see it. That looks like a show that everyone, not just me, that looks like a show that everyone will see once, leave that theater, and go, I never have to see this again.
It
was fun one time, but I'm not going to watch it ever again. It was the same with Lightning McQueen. We went in there for Tony, and we walked out, and I'm like, that was dumb.
Wrapped up in
Not only was that dumb, Tony didn't know it was Lightning McQueen until he was saying goodbye.
Yeah. He's like, Lightning McQueen's here.
Thanks for coming, everybody. It's been great. Ka-chow, ka-chiga, ka-chow. And he's like, oh my god, it's Lightning McQueen. And it's like, bro, he's leaving.
And like, he watched the whole show. Like, he's watching the screens.
He pointed out Chig Hicks, like,
and he was watching the show.
Yeah,
he was
aware of what was happening around him
to realize that there was a talking cart in front. Now we were to the back, so
and when you would still see him,
yeah.
And I even kept saying, like, look, it's Lightning McQueen.
And he was like, I mean, he loved it. We did go in again, and he was a little less. Robin slept through it, so.
Yeah, I know what
I would bring back. The ride is still there. But the version I want is gone. Or bring it back. Come in, Simba 1.
Oh, the safari.
I don't know why they got rid of it. They need to bring back the poachers.
The poacher storyline. I think there was a whole controversial thing.
I think they just thought it was a bit too violent for kids, maybe.
No, I forget what the whole thing was.
I don't know why it added like such a fun level of drama into that ride. But I think we should bring that back.
Blah, blah, blah.
There was a, like...
I don't care about zebra replacements.
No, we want to know why you don't say poachers. Come in, Simba 1. There's poachers. Like, my legs cannot figure out where they should go on this couch.
Yeah, but they changed it before this. This is talking about, like, the racial thing. That's why they changed the stuff in Jungle Cruise. But, like, it was changed before that.
What?
What do you mean?
What racial stuff?
Racial.
Yeah, what racial?
Like, they changed things because they were racially insensitive and, like, historically insensitive.
Oh,
like
I just don't remember.
The Jungle Cruise had some not great depictions of indigenous people.
Oh.
And they changed that. But this ride was changed, like, long before that was a big to-do.
Well, yeah, and that part, I don't... Unless they're saying, like, the way that guy was speaking. But, like, all the actors in the videos were all, like... It's what's supposed to be, like, an African safari. Like, I don't think they were, like, making that up.
This is just talking about them getting rid of the zebras. Who the fuck cares?
There was something...
Let me see if the... Here you go. This is good. While far from an extinct attraction, Kilimanjaro Safaris has seen a few changes since it opened to the public along with the rest of Disney's Animal Kingdom in 1998. In fact, the very first change to this attraction came before the park ever opened to the public. I don't fucking care.
No,
Here we go. In 2012, it was announced... Oh, hold on. During cast member previews, the original Poacher storyline had a much darker ending.
Yeah, you saw the dead elephant, and they
At
got
the
rid
end
of
the
that.
attraction, rather than guests finding that the Poachers had failed in their attempt to capture Big and Little Red, They instead would come across the bloody corpse of Little Red, tusks removed. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I do know they got rid of that.
Feedback from the previews resulted in a change to the ending in which the driver of the safari vehicle would successfully scare off the poachers, letting Big and Little Red escape. Michael Eisner, what the fuck is wrong with you?
He had a real dark side.
Well, I also want to know, was that his idea? I mean, it had to have been. But
well, he okayed it, so...
But whose idea was that? Because, like, Joe Rohde was the main guy at Animal Kingdom, and, like, was that your idea, bro? Because that's fucked up.
But he doesn't really have anything else. Michael Eisner has a track record of making things dark.
I could see him doing that, and, like...
Because it's awareness.
Well, yeah, then the point of that ride and that element of that ride is the awareness and, like, the reality of the situation. That not everything has a glossy ending, but, like... Modifications open with minor issues, generally great success. Some of the animals did not fare well in their new surroundings and died as a result. However, as a whole, the attraction was popular with guests. Slight changes to the poacher storyline came over the years, including removal of the guns the drivers carried, as well as removal of a few animatronics and props in later years. In 2012, it was announced that the entire poacher storyline would be removed, along with the scenes associated. Instead, the attraction would no longer feature a fictional storyline, other than being in Africa, that is, and a new zebra exhibit would go into the areas previously occupied by the storyline props. Just a few months after it opened in early 2013, it was announced that the zebras were having difficulty acclimating to their new home, and the new section of the safari would unfortunately be removed. So that's why everything keeps talking about the zebras.
Oh, because they were put there.
Yeah. So it doesn't say why it closed. They just got rid of it.
But I get, maybe I'm thinking of they
probably just thought it was...
They got rid of the dead elephant.
They probably just thought it was dated.
Or they didn't...
Another dated element of the park, and it was just like, whatever.
They got rid of the fictional storyline.
Could have been, yeah.
Like, they wanted to keep it, like, more...
Well, it probably was to focus more on the safari.
And the animals, as opposed to adding a fictional story on top.
Because I do remember, like, now when you ride it, you kind of linger around a lot more. Which is fine, I like it.
Oh,
but before, you used to be like, oh, here's the animal, and, like, then they had to, like, rush through this poacher storyline, and you would drive real fast in one section, and you had to get over that bridge, and, like...
I just missed the bridge.
Yeah, they should have kept that. Like, you don't need the poacher storyline. You should just be like, oh, I don't know, this bridge...
I don't know if I can make it over this bridge.
This bridge looks like it's going to collapse. Then you get in the middle, and it kind of like, oh...
Yeah, bring back a little drama. I love the safari.
Right after the gators, everybody's like, "Are those fake?"
Every time we go on it, my dad's like, "They've got to be fake.
They're not.
They don't ever move." And I'm like, "They're not." Because do you know what they tell you? You know why they can't stop here?
You know why they don't move? Because they're waiting for someone to fall the fuck overboard.
And you know what the driver's going to do if you fall over?
Drive.
Speed as fast as they can away.
Leave you the fuck there.
But they're never... I mean, now, granted, I don't know for sure. But, like, I don't think, like, every time we go, it's like... They're definitely in the same position.
No, they're definitely not. They've definitely moved.
But, like, we go to the Elmwood Park Zoo. They have an alligator.
Yeah. He's the same thing.
We've seen him moving once, so I can confirm. But, like, they literally...
Well, in the Florida sun, that's what they're doing. Right, they're just sitting there with their mouths wide open.
Yeah, like they love it.
Yeah.
We saw the alligator in Elmwood, like, entering the water.
Yeah, I remember
And we stood there forever, because I'm like, come on, bite that ball. You know you want to. He never did.
But yeah, I would bring back the Great Movie Ride. Big
I'm bringing back Alien. I don't care what you say.
I was trying to think if there's anything else in any other park, but not really. Not much, at least in what I've experienced, not much has changed in Magic Kingdom. And, I wish they would have done... I don't think they ever did it in Magic Kingdom. So it doesn't really count. But I wish they would have done the Tarzan change.
Oh, yeah.
Just with Stanley Robinson. Mm-hmm. I wish they would just get rid of Stanley Robinson, but whatever.
I thought they are.
Put something else there. I don't know.
What are they getting? Because aren't they getting rid of, like, the Liberty Bell boat? Yeah,
that's for Cars Land.
And what's over there? Tom Sawyer Island.
Tom Sawyer Island, you're thinking.
I always forget that those are two different things. I don't know that I've ever been in either of them then.
I've been through the Swiss Family Robinson is just a walkthrough.
And what's Tom Sawyer Island?
You take the boat over, and then you do walk around the island, and there's buildings you can go in. There might be like some sort of tour thing. It's been a while since we've been over
Then
there.
I did the Swiss man. We did.
There is a ton of old people that are really mad they're getting rid of it because they're like, that's right, you should sit and have a break in the middle of the day.
So that's more
And
of
it's
just like
cool.
a...
So Tom Sawyer Island was just like a retirement facility.
Right. Is that like your fart porch? What are we doing over here? What? Is that where they used to let people smoke? Could you smoke over there?
No. There probably was a section, but you couldn't.
They don't have
them
them anymore.
They don't have any.
They
anymore.
used to.
They used to have sections. So it went from you could smoke in there no matter what. Then it changed to like there are certain sections throughout the park, and now Disney is a completely smokeless resort.
You can smoke in the parking lots. But it's like when you go to the mall.
Well,
like
I think it's in the parking lot, and they're just not monitoring you. Like they don't really want you to.
No, they might.
They don't want you to because
No.
they boast that they are a smokeless resort, and the entire property is technically their resort.
Because I remember when we ran through Animal Kingdom, there was this like a little smoking lounge, and it was disgusting. I'm like, why would you have us run by here? Because like I get it, like
It's part of the tour.
This is where you're allowed to smoke.
Yeah, it's part of the experience.
But I mean, I also ran by where all the poop goes.
Yeah,
So,
also part of the experience.
the poop and the garbage.
Yeah.
So, in case you were wondering where the poop goes in Disney, I've seen it. And I've smelled it.
And you've dealt it.
But then I think for a little while it was like right at the exit. So you didn't have to leave the park. It was like a little thing, but I don't even think they do that anymore. I'm not saying we should bring those back. You could get rid of those. But I was wondering if maybe Tom Sawyer Island was like a smoking haven.
I don't think so. Speaking of Hollywood Studios and new Hollywood Studios and MGM and relics of Hollywood Studios, I forget where I saw this. Somewhere on Facebook, maybe. I forget where it was. I think it is a brilliant idea. Brilliant idea. So their gripe, which I do remember this, that in Toy Story Land, there is very little shade.
Uh-huh.
Very little shade.
None.
There's some.
Unless you're like,
but you
got to
go like over to the buildings. Like it's in the walkway itself, there is no shade.
Nothing.
So the post had something up about like this belief that
it's supposed to be Andy's backyard.
Because the point of Toy Story Land, is that you're in Andy's backyard. So they're all like, the idea is just like, you're telling me Andy's backyard is concrete?
Right.
Like just wall to wall concrete. There's not a tree in sight.
Yeah.
And their pitch was that Honey, I Shrunk the Kids existed in Hollywood Studios, which, for those of you that don't know, was just a playground made to look like the scenes from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, the movie, where they're in the grass.
And there's
so it is
the Kodak
film roll, like all that stuff. Mm-hmm. But it's so the grass is huge.
It looks like giant bamboo
towers
shoots
above you.
Yeah.
Because that's what the point is.
Yeah.
So their whole pitch was, that's got to be somewhere. Like, we know Disney doesn't just destroy shit.
Right, they keep everything.
So why wouldn't you take that and put it in Toy Story Land so that Andy actually has a yard in his backyard, and then you have shade in areas of this.
The only downside is in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, you're supposed to be the size of an ant.
Yeah.
So the dimensions are going to be off.
I guess.
Because, like, the grass would
But what are you in... If you want to get into the technical aspect of it...
You're essentially the height of a Barbie doll.
So that's my point. Like, what are you supposed to... Are you supposed to be a toy in Andy's backyard?
Yeah.
So it would still make sense.
But I think that grass would be too big.
Make them a little shorter.
For your... Too... Like...
Round?
Yeah.
It wouldn't matter.
Too big.
It wouldn't matter. That's a structural thing. No one's going to look at that like, oh, this isn't accurate. Grass isn't thicker than my Woody doll. But they might be able to make them
look like something else.
Paint the sides so they look thinner. I don't fucking know. Disney knows all those tricks.
Well, they could make it look like bunches of grass.
Yeah.
Like sprouts of grass.
Yeah.
I did see that, though.
I thought it was a brilliant idea.
Yes. When I saw it, I was just like, absolutely. Why didn't you do this? Because that is everyone's complaint. Like, Toy Story Land is so much fun. There are so many teeny tiny little nods.
Of all the lands they've built in recent years, it's the best one.
Because
it's better than Avatar, it's better than Galaxy's Edge.
And I think because part of it is, like, it's so nostalgic. Because, like, when we were in line for Slinky Dog Dash, there's, like, a whole game, like, cabinet.
Well, I think it's the nostalgia, and I think it's because there's not only the detail, but there's so much. And everything's so different. It's so colorful. Whereas, like, you go into Galaxy's Edge, everything's kind of gray.
There are details, but you have
beige.
To, like, you have to know, because we looked
on
the
things...
You
have to know Star Wars, like, lore and shit to understand what's happening.
Because there's a ton of stuff on the Millennium Falcon. But, like, you have to know it's there. Whereas in Toy Story Land,
it's one of those things of, like, you can appreciate the detail of it artistically. But then eventually you're just, like, looking at buildings.
And
futuristic looking buildings, and it's like, okay. Same thing in Avatar. Avatar, you're basically looking at glorified landscaping. It's just shrubbery with fucking
it's just pretty
lights in it. Like, okay.
I loved walking through Avatar, like, especially.
But my point is, like, as in Toy Story Land, you've got like, it's not just buildings. It's buildings made of Lincoln Logs and, like, Tinker Toys and Kinects, and then you're in line, and it's a board game cabinet with all these old board games, and there's board game pieces on the ground, and, like, there's cutouts of what are supposed to be Andy's footprints, and
there's a lot of, like, because I think we were looking at it as, like, a lot of writings on the board games, which was, like, nods to different things, and, like, it was things that, standing in line, like, you could see. You didn't need to know it was there. You could just...
There's so much more.
You could just be looking at it and see it for yourself. Like,
exactly. There's so much more in Toy Story Land.
Yeah. But it's also... That one is... It's not... All of it is, obviously, for kids. But, like, that one is so kid-centric. I think it's...
I think, too, you want to talk about overhauls and everything else. I think they desperately need to overhaul Pixar Alley or whatever. Like, I think they need to be doing a lot more with the Pixar IP than what they are. Because at this point, it's really just Toy Story.
Well, soon it'll be Monsters Inc.
And then Monsters Inc. is over where the Muppets are. But, like,
they used to have... Well, Bug's Life is on its way out.
It's on its way out.
Which
but,
is
like,
fine.
You don't do anything in Disney World with The Incredibles.
Right.
You don't do anything with, like...
Well...
I'm trying to think of what else they've done Pixar-wise. There's nothing for Up, which, like, I don't know what you would do with Up, but, like...
Yeah.
Because everything... The problem, too, is everything has to be a ride now. Because, like, you used to have Mickey's Toontown, where all you did was just... You walked through Mickey's house, and Minnie's house, and Donald's house.
Uh-huh.
Like, you just walked through their houses. But now everything has to be a ride. Because you could just build... the house from Up.
Yeah.
And you walk through Carl's house. And then, like, you can have a meet and greet in there where you go through the house to the backyard, and there's your meet and greet for Doug and Carl and Kevin and...
Did we meet Kevin?
He walks around Animal Kingdom, so you don't really meet him. We met Doug and...
Carl.
No, the boy. Oh, what the fuck is that boy's name? Oh,
because Carl's the dog. Doug.
No, Carl's the old man.
Oh.
Doug is the dog.
Oh, I don't remember.
Oh, what's the kid's name?
I don't remember.
That's gonna bug me. Oh, what's that kid's name?
I know exactly what he looks like.
I didn't fucking click on this weird anime movie. What is this kid's name? Russell! I'm like, is it Wilson? It's some, like, weird kind of name. Yeah, Doug. D-U-G.
Mm-hmm.
Great movie.
Yeah, for some reason I thought Kevin was... But it wasn't. It was the kid, Russell, and Doug, yeah.
Let's see what else Pixar's done. Besides Toy Story and The Incredibles. Luca.
Well, Luca is in one of the parades.
Turning Red.
And supposedly... Where is he supposed to be? Where they're in Greece, right?
Feature films, yes.
Greece is not one of the countries in Epcot,
Inside Out, Elemental, Turning Red, Luca.
Turning Red.
The Incredibles, Onward, Coco.
I have a feeling we're not going to be seeing a Turning Red attraction.
Coco, Finding Dory.
Coco!
Finding Nemo and Finding Dory, which they do in Epcot. Brave, which is... No, she's not mentioning them anymore. You can't meet her anymore, I don't think.
If you could change your fate,
would you? Ratatouille's in Epcot.
So they do a little bit more than we thought.
Well, they do... Ratatouille's in Epcot now. It wasn't. It's very... Well, not very new, but newer. Coco is kind of in Mexico.
Yeah, he's in that when
people talk about like the rage of changing all this shit. I do not understand why Coco came out and was a massive hit and you didn't change the Three Caballeros ride to Coco.
What is that? I don't even know what that ride. The Fiesta Tour.
Yeah, the Three Caballeros Grand Fiesta Tour.
Yeah, you need to.
There are characters from an old. They are characters from a movie that came out between Snow White and Cinderella. Like that's how old those characters are, and they don't do anything with them.
They made a cameo all the way out.
They made a cameo appearance in 2 episodes of the reboot of DuckTales. They are not in anything else. You almost never see anyone but Donald anywhere in anything Disney. So why are we not, like, change this fucking ride?
Put Coco in there.
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
That movie was so good. There's such good music.
You could also easily do a Turning Red dark ride.
They're not going to.
Why wouldn't you?
They're not going to.
Those big pandas, that fight scene?
They're not going to. There's too much... We can't have a menstruation movie and
Yeah, but the ride isn't going to be as, like... Because you're not putting the dialogue in.
People will lose their minds.
No, they wouldn't.
They'd be like, oh, is the water going to be red? Like...
They wouldn't care.
I didn't understand
you
why
got the great soundtrack.
Or you could do it there on their way to the concert. Because the whole thing is like...
No, I think you would do a dark ride that tells you, like, the point of the movie. Like, you go to the party.
Change Rock and Roller Coaster to us trying to get to the 5K.
You have the great...
What is there?
No, you're thinking of Girls 5 Eva.
Yeah, what?
And it's Boys... No.
Boys Town.
Four Town. Boys... Because Boys for Now is Bob's Burger. I think it's Four Town.
Whatever the boy... like
Four Town is from Turning Red. I know that for a fact. It's Four Town. Boys for Now is Bob's Burgers, and Girls 5 Eva is that show on Peacock.
I was getting lots of
bands with numbers in them.
I was close. I was getting there.
But you could do everyone raves about that transition of, I think it's in Paris or wherever it is, where the beast turns into a human.
Oh, uh-huh.
Why not do that in that ride? Where she turns into a panda.
We have two boys, and that movie was a mega hit.
Tony loved that movie.
I don't care. I love that movie.
Yeah.
I thought it was adorable.
Yeah. I also loved Luca.
Oh, I didn't hate Luca. It just was sort of like, okay. It's very pretty.
Yeah. I don't know why you wouldn't put Luca somewhere.
Well, so it's set in Greece, and that's not one of the countries in Epcot, correct? I think that there might be something for them in Italy for some reason.
There is. There's a weird...
It's a fountain?
There's like some homage to them in Italy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, I guess it's close. I don't know.
That feels racist.
I don't...
What else did I say there was? I don't know why you're not building the house from up.
Inside Out?
Those balloons, like...
There is an Inside Out ride somewhere, isn't there? Oh no, it was AI'd. There was a ride on YouTube.
Why is Wally not rolling around the park?
Wally?
Wally, the robot.
We're not.
Why is he not just rolling around the park? I don't need the whole attraction, but like, why is he not one of those characters just like roams around the park? Have him in Future World. Have him in Epcot. Just like beep, beep, beep. Like, here he comes, and he just like keeps going along.
What's his girlfriend's name?
Evie. But she floats. You can't really do her. She'd be hard to do. What?
Of course you can.
You can, but she'd be hard to pull off as like a...
She just rolls.
But she doesn't. She floats.
She just rolls, okay?
Her arms have like the thing, they're repulsors or whatever, and she's like...
It's weird to me.
The Good Dinosaur.
Oh, we need a full attraction.
I never saw it, so...
I did try to watch it with Tony. And
I also don't understand...
He got angry at how much he didn't like that movie.
Why you're not doing more with Elemental. Because I loved Elemental. The song from that movie is a fucking banger.
Actually, just any time there's music in that movie.
I will say, when I first watched it,
I hated it. For the first 10 minutes, I was like, what am I watching?
Yes, the beginning of the movie I hated. Because the beginning of the movie, I was immediately like, if this is how this whole movie is, I'm going to hate it. Because the beginning of this movie is so blatantly like racism is bad. And here is a movie about systemic racism. And I'm like, Jesus Christ.
But it was like, I couldn't figure out.
But then it changes.
Yeah.
It turns into this romance storyline and like being your own person.
Yeah, be
and,
yourself.
Like, it really changed. And I was so grateful for it. And now when I watch it, it doesn't really faze me what the beginning is about.
No.
But like the opening,
you have to stick it out. You have to stick it out.
And I get it. Because it's written by people who experience stuff like that. It's the same thing with Turning Red. Like, that was the big issue with, like, modern Disney, is we allowed people of color and women and gay people to write movies that reflected their stories, not just, here's a creepy white guy, a.k.a. John Lasseter, making a bunch of animated movies for kids.
Well, and also, like, here's just a... Like,
I mean, they were great. Don't get me wrong.
Creepy main male... And your, like, doe-eyed princess figure. Like, that's what all those movies were.
Not in Pixar.
Oh, no, not Pixar.
That was Disney.
Yeah.
But Disney, you can kind of forgive those movies because that was the time. That was of the time.
But it was,
that's
movies. Just their,
and it's very traditional.
That's their MO.
One, it's very knight in shining armor. Yes. It's very old school fairy tale.
Yes.
The Pixar movies, though...
The Disney movies did change, though.
Watching the Pixar movies, too, as an adult, man, oh man, let me tell you, it is not hard to identify with the posts that are always the memes of, like, what radicalized you to being who you are today. And then you watch, it's just a clip from A Bug's Life, where it is Flick's whole speech about, like, we outnumber you 100-1. Ants don't work for grasshoppers. Ants, and like it's just this whole very political speech about like the uprising of ants versus grasshoppers. And it's like, yes, I watched this shit all the time as a kid. No wonder I am who I am as a person. Oh man, they're so good.
But because you were talking about Wall-E. Like, strolling around. It's
also
weird.
Also controversial.
But it's weird to me that they have so many characters that they could just have around that they don't.
Yeah.
Like, or, like, the dog from Coco and, like, the side characters and, like, where it doesn't need to be a meet and greet. They could just be, like...
Well, you know the issue
Maybe
there.
not roaming.
You know the issue there.
What?
Actors' equity.
No, but
they don't want to pay people. That trash can that used to roam around Magic Kingdom that was hysterical, they're not paying someone to do that. Because you got to pay someone to do the voice of that trash can.
But that's not an actor's equity because actors...
Yeah, it is.
Oh, because they're a voice.
Yeah, it's a voice actor.
They have, if you use that. Because I was like, but they're not, their body's not there.
Same thing as Bunsen Honeydew and Beaker. The hilarity of us watching that Defunct Land, or whatever we watched, no, it was TPM.
Yeah.
And, like, they show that documentary from Disney Plus, and they're very clearly just in the background of a warehouse covered in a tarp, and it's like, fuck you. Get that thing back out there.
Well, but I think...
But, like, yeah, why couldn't you just have Wall-E? And he's not even actor's equity. You see a guy to control him and hit buttons, because he doesn't talk.
Right.
Wall-E just beep, boop, beeped. Like...
Right, it would be pre-recorded.
Same thing with R2. Like,
but the dog from Coco, there's a lot of characters that wouldn't need to speak.
Yeah. Well, how are you going to do the dog from Coco, though?
No, but it just that they would, like... He doesn't need to be moving around, but, like, they're not even...
You're all into this whole... Let's put booze everywhere. Why is there not a soul jazz bar somewhere in Disney Springs? Or on the boardwalk at Disney? Like, why not?
Well, maybe that's what's going to go where Jelly Roll is.
I mean, missed opportunity if you're asking me. You're all about pushing, like, this adult life now in certain aspects of your park. That's the perfect movie for you to tie in your IP and put a jazz bar in.
But, yeah. I don't remember much of that movie.
That's what he is. He's a jazz piano player.
Yeah.
Well, he's a piano player. I don't know if he's specifically a jazz piano player, but
was it piano? I thought
he plays piano.
A wind instrument.
No, I'm pretty sure he plays piano.
Oh.
He plays more than one instrument, but
I don't know why I was thinking it was more like trumpet.
It's a jazz flute.
Oh, I play jazz flute.
A jazz flute for you, yes. There was something else I was thinking of and I lost it. What the fuck? Oh, yeah. My other thing with... I was not intending this entire episode to be like our ideas for the Disney Corporation.
We got lots of ideas for you.
But
we're ready.
But to go back to like the whole villains ride thing, I will always stand by.
It's just a show, right?
Yeah, the show. I will always stand by. And I get it. You announced things already and whatever, which I do think what happened was you announced all this stuff. And then 100% this was a cause and effect issue. You announced Monstropolis. You did not announce where it was going, when it was going. Nothing. You gave no information other than somewhere in Hollywood Studios we are putting Monstropolis from Monsters Inc. And it's going to be
I cannot wait for that roller coaster.
It's going to be a restaurant and a roller coaster and this and that and the other thing. And immediately, everyone was like, you're putting this where the Muppets is. Mm-hmm. There's no way you're not putting this where the Muppets is. And I held out hope because there were former cast members like, there's nowhere to go with that.
There's not enough space there.
But right behind Rock and Roller Coaster or whatever, there's just a big parking lot. Like, they'll just put it there. And I held out so much hope. And it was months. Like, I don't know where they were going to put it. Or no, I know. They were always going to put it where Muppets is. But they waited and waited and waited. And then finally made the decision. Like, here's what we're going to do. We're going to change Rock and Roller Coaster from Aerosmith because it's 2025 and who gives a fuck about Aerosmith anymore?
And I don't think anyone's going to be devastated that ride
no
gets
one
changed.
is.
We already had to get rid of the Shocker, which no one ever saw.
Yeah, no one complained about
years.
except for like one mom complained about it on Twitter, and then like Moms Against Disney or whatever bought onto it. They're like, oh, we'll change it.
No one even knows what that fucking means. Stop it.
That was the stupidest thing I think I've ever experienced.
And like, I don't care.
In terms of a Disney controversy.
I don't care. If you need to change things on rides, like, I'm not...
Yeah.
That does not bother me.
Yeah.
But...
That didn't need to be changed. Literally no one noticed that.
But I just wanted, like...
That is the epitome of when I talk about, like, cancel culture not existing and everything else, and it's just, we're giving too much credibility to people on Twitter. That's 100% what that is. Because no one
ever noticed.
That ride was operating for how many years? Until
it had to be 10 years.
Until someone was like, oh my god, I can't believe Steven Tyler's just throwing out the Shocker in the pre-show to Rock and Roller Coaster.
And that had to be, you filmed that pre-show, and then you continually watched it.
Yeah.
Because you don't notice that.
No one does. And it's literally, people are talking, and he does this to, like, block the light from his eyes to see the audience. And, like, you would never...
Because isn't his whole thing, like, he has arthritis or something?
His excuse was,
like,
like, he has a whole... It's a whole thing.
Yeah, like his hands just don't straighten very well.
It was so stupid.
That was just the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
So they waited and waited and waited, and then finally decided we're going to change Rock and Roller Coaster to Electric Mayhem. Totally fine. I personally thought the Power Line idea was better, but okay. I love the Muppets. I'm all for it. They're changing it to Electric Mayhem. Once you announce we are changing this to Electric Mayhem, now we can announce we're also going to close Muppet Vision 3D.
Right.
You kind of missed the point of why he wouldn't want you to close Muppet Vision 3D.
Right.
But okay, we're fine with it. We think collectively as a whole, you are not doing anywhere near enough. We personally all think at this point you should sell the Muppets back to Brian Henson because you're not doing shit with the Muppets. When you could be. Limitless possibilities for what you could be doing with the Muppets and you don't do anything with them. But you're changing Rock and Roller Coaster. Fine. We're closing Muppet Vision 3D. Not really fine, but okay. We're closing Pizza Rizzo. We are redoing the entirety of Muppets Courtyard. Which, fine. You whittled it down to nothing as is anyways. So...
Right, what's the point?
But then you're changing Rock and Roller Coaster, and you've already announced this stupid villain show that, like... People are so... I don't understand the modern idea of, like, clamoring for... They don't do enough with the villains in the park. What the fuck are they going to do? I don't understand what you want them to do with villains in the park. The most you could do that would make sense to me is the pitch to do a ride based on Emperor's New Groove, and it's the roller coaster that Kronk and Yzma are on in the movie.
I guess.
You would know the scene. Like, you would build, it wouldn't be just that. You would build upon it. But, like, the ride, I think, would be centered more around Yzma and Kronk than it would be the entire, like... Cusco would be the focal point of that ride, is my point. But, like, what are you doing with Captain Hook? What are you really doing with Maleficent?
But they're all there.
That's the point. In the shows and stuff, yes. But my point is, like, in terms of a ride or, like, a land...
Why do you want, like... So you want them to change all the rides so that, like, you focus on when you go on the mine train?
Well, they don't want you to change it. They just want them to be included more. And I'm like, for what?
Every ride you go on, if it's based on a movie, the villain is there.
Well, aren't they doing a Villain's Land?
No.
I'm pretty sure they are. Why do I feel like they are? I forget where.
Maybe in Disneyland.
No, I'm pretty sure it's in Disney World.
What will that be? Where you can just meet them all?
Disney's Villains Land. Disney's Villains Land, a dark and thorny... That's not... Don't do that. Themed area at Magic Kingdom in Florida will celebrate classic Disney villains. The land will feature 2 major attractions, dining and shopping.
Oh.
Told you.
Well, but if it's in Magic Kingdom, that makes a little bit more sense. It kind of fits in there.
Yeah, but there again... kind of follows into my other point, where this goes in with what I'm talking about with the Muppets. I think Disney is getting really out of hand. Like, again, we talked about it over the weekend. There are things that make me pine for Michael Eisner to be back as CEO. Because the man did some dumb shit. But I'll be damned if the parks were not top-notch when Michael Eisner was there. In Florida, at least. I don't know. California Adventure was a shit show. Paris was a shit show. I don't know.
Well, he wasn't great at expanding.
But, like... Well, he was in Florida. Because, like, Hollywood Studios was good. But, like, Animal Kingdom was good. They were both under Michael Eisner.
In their existing. But he wasn't good at... Well, because I guess Disneyland, California.
Yeah, Disneyland wasn't good. So it's weird, like, he did decently in Florida, but he didn't do good anywhere else.
Maybe did the Florida parks come first?
And in hindsight, they've all been better, but, like, when they first started.
Well, because... Well,
I think that's his entire... I think that is his... Outside of the movies, I think his entire tenure at Disney is, like, in the moment, you suck. What the fuck are you doing? In hindsight, it's like, holy shit, you were amazing. Disney Quest was better than people thought it was.
It just didn't work.
Looking back on it with different eyes, like...
I don't think it was, like, all good ideas, like, poorly executed.
Yes.
Like, yes, it was great to expand Disneyland. Why did you open a California park in the state of California?
To celebrate California.
Right, but Disneyland is mostly locals.
Yeah.
Why do they want to come
I think that was the point, was because you wanted to get outside people to start coming to Disneyland.
Right, and that didn't happen.
Because that was the point. You wanted it to be a multiple day park like Disney World is.
Right.
So you wanted to try and make Disneyland the same thing, where people could then fly to California and stay at the Grand Californian.
The one hotel.
Stay at the surrounding areas, because I'm sure they would have partnered up with hotels in the area like they do in Disney World.
Yeah, maybe they had.
I
think they have more than one hotel now, though.
But... So he expanded, whatever. I think now they're getting into this weird place where nothing matters. Nothing matters where it is. You've got Toy Story Land, and granted, they put it on the backside of Toy Story Mania and just flipped where the entrance is or whatever.
Yeah.
But, like, Galaxy's Edge is over here, Star Tours is over there. You've got Moana and Epcot, which is fine. But then you've got other shit that's like, there's some stuff in this park, and there's some stuff over in this park. Like, are you going to close the laugh floor in Magic Kingdom?
I hope so.
Or are you just going to have the laugh floor in Magic Kingdom and then Monsters Inc. in a whole different park? Like, you're getting late. You have the Indiana Jones ride or show in Hollywood Studios, which hopefully you're closing because that show has...
I thought they already announced that they were
come and gone.
it.
I don't think they have. And then you're opening the ride where a dinosaur was in Animal Kingdom.
But if it's the same ride as California, it's the same as the show.
So my point is, when you open Villains Land, move that villain show, either get rid of it, because no one is going to go in it, I don't think. I could be wrong. There are some weirdo people.
No. People will go in it.
There are some weirder people that are super into it, but I think within a year or two's time, everyone's will have ridden it once, and they will have taken its course, and that'll be the end of it.
When is Villains Land supposed to open?
I don't know.
Because maybe this is a temporary.
So bump that either over to Villains Land or close it. Put Muppet Vision 3D in where the villain show is, and re-theme that entire area back there to Muppets. You don't need to reopen Pizza Rizzo. If you want to, build a building there, and you can. I don't care. But, like, bring that fountain back.
It doesn't need a...
Bring that fountain back, and put it back to what it was. I don't want just Miss Piggy and one rat in the boat. I want all the rats with the cameras, and Fozzie, and Gonzo, and Piggy. I want the whole shebang on that fountain.
But why couldn't they? Because there's
Bring back the giant Kermit statues, the amazing gift shop. Like, it was incredible what Muppets Courtyard used to be.
I'm sure.
And for the love of God, make Sweetums a walk-around character.
So when you...
If I can't meet and greet with somebody at Rock and Roller Coaster, I'm going to be real mad.
Is there a gift shop when you come out of Rock and Roller Coaster?
Yes. You exit through a gift shop.
And then there's those kiosks there, too.
Yeah, but they're not...
Because Rock and Roller Coaster was
one
closed.
of them is a restaurant. The one kiosk is a restaurant. The other one is like a miscellaneous grab bag of Rock and Roller Coaster
Tony got car stuff
Lightning
there.
McQueen Cars merch.
Yeah.
It's more so, at that point, it was more Cars merch than it was...
Because Rock and Roller Coaster was down.
And it had a gift shop. So their merchandise is in the gift shop.
So you
Which I think you could still go in the gift shop.
I don't know. We didn't...
I think you could still go in the gift shop for Rock and Roller Coaster, but you couldn't go on the ride.
So you will get a Muppets gift shop, obviously. Because there's...
Will you?
Well, it's already there.
Yeah, but I don't know. They don't have one now. The gift shop that was at Muppet Vision 3D has been closed for years. And even before then...
But it wasn't the exit to the ride. This is the exit to the ride.
Yeah, but it was right next door.
So why would you... What are they going to do in that...
Generic Disney merchandise. I don't know.
I doubt it.
I don't know.
Every other ride that dumps you onto a gift shop is that ride's gift shop.
I don't know. Used to go in that gift shop next to the Muppet Vision 3D, and the entire gift shop was Muppets. And then it got dwindled down to one section in the back, and then it got dwindled down to nothing. And then they just closed it. So you had a big, empty building just sitting there, closed up.
I bet you have to get something.
One would hope, but I don't know.
Because it doesn't make any sense.
They have shown that they have no idea what to do with Muppets. Which is laughable to me. I don't understand how you own a company that is like...
Well, it'll be Electric Mayhem, I'm sure.
This empire of IP. And you don't have a clue. You don't have a clue on what to do with the Muppets. Like, why? Why is it so hard?
Jim Henson's not around to tell him what to do.
But, like, the Jason Segel Muppets movie was so good.
It was so good.
Like,
even the second one wasn't terrible. Like,
and, like, look back. You had Muppet Treasure Island. You had Muppets, the Muppet movie period, which was also a Jim Henson brilliant one. But, like, you had Muppets Christmas Carol. Just start doing movies like that. Where you have one or two, whatever, like a handful of real people.
Well, they did do the Muppets Haunted Mansion. Why aren't they doing more stuff like that?
I don't know. And they try and blame it on, like, oh, well, the show flopped. Because no one wanted you to make The Office with the Muppets.
Yeah.
If you're going to make a TV show, we want the fucking Muppet Show. Like, it's not hard. All that show was is basically SNL with the Muppets. Just make the Muppet Show.
Well, it's just a variety show. Like any. Yeah.
That just focused more, like, backstage than it did on the stage.
Well, both.
Because you never really saw what Gonzo was doing. You saw the beginning of it, then it went backstage to Kermit, and then it came back out at the end.
Well, right.
You saw Fozzie's jokes because he got heckled by Statler and Waldorf. But, like, you weren't seeing a lot of what was happening on the stage.
Right. Well,
It was a variety show mixed with, like, behind the scenes.
well, because it
type
was
stuff.
sort of like, that's the way The Office was, where, like, you were seeing The Office.
But it was long before The Office.
Right, but it was
And
that...
they weren't doing the whole, like, interviews to camera.
No. But when they brought them up its back, they thought, like, oh, well, they would easily fit into this.
Yeah.
And it's like...
Well, because that was the thing to do. Because you had The Office, then you had Parks and Rec, and, like, that was... The Office took off, and everyone's like, oh, all I watch on Netflix is The Office. I don't watch anything else. I pay $400 a month for Netflix just to watch The Office over and over and over again. So everybody and their mother was like, oh, we know the show to make now. We're just going to keep remaking The Office. And it's like...
doesn't...
The show wasn't that good.
But it was also, like...
like...
Yes.
And the show, even if the show was good, it has been murdered.
Right. The issue was...
Remake after remake.
Just because it works once doesn't mean it works all...
Of the same formula.
Yes.
Then we've got the Office ladies watch along podcast.
Well, that's not...
Now you're doing a reboot with Oscar and whoever else. And, what's her name?
That podcast thing is very common. Tons of shows.
That also got real tired real quick. The Office ladies, Parks and Rec did it. There was a Sopranos watch along. Like, I don't mind if it's comedians, because there are some comedians I know that do watch alongs for shows they were not on.
Right, but it's...
But, like, that's different than two people that worked on the show. Yeah. And, like, I see the appeal of it. As someone who tirelessly watches the making of featurettes and the behind the scenes stuff and all the DVD bonus features.
They like
it's fine. But I don't need every single episode.
Well,
do chunks of like 5 at a time. Like, I don't listen to it, so it doesn't matter to me. But in my mind, like, I don't need to listen to you go over every single episode. I don't know if
they did every episode.
They definitely did.
Like one episode
unless you're getting real gritty and going through the time when Michael Scott left and you're like, wow, this season fucking sucked. Like,
I don't know. I don't listen to any of them.
Oh, yes. How much time are we at? I'm guessing we're probably... Oh, yeah. We're about where I thought we were. So...
for some reason, I thought it said 11 o'clock. I was like, we're at like 3 hours?
We'll end it there. That was fun. A lot deeper into Disney stuff than I thought we were going to get, but hey, why not? Passionate about things. I will say this, to point this out, the elephant in the room of that weird-ass fucking painting back there. It's not finished. Please do not judge me. I think it looks very strange. I might even paint over it and do something else.
I like it. It's got a lot going on. Well... It has a lot going on, minus the skull needs something happening for it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because, like, this one has words.
I keep looking at it, and I'm just like, I don't know. But I'll figure something out. And if I don't like it, I'll just paint over it and do something else. But I did talk in a post, what feels like a century ago, that we did move things around, which we did move our furniture around. Where we are sitting was where we used to sit at the table. Our table is
right. We technically are sitting in the same place.
Same place. Well, close. We were more this way a little bit.
In the same room.
But yeah, we're in the same room. And I said, like, oh, we were going to have different stuff and it was going to look a little better. My thought was, on that wall, which you can't really see that painting or that picture, but on that wall and this wall, hang up my paintings.
Low?
As like the backdrop. This one wouldn't have to be low.
You could. I think it would work better if you set them.
This wall, but then you have to move them all the time. If they're just on the wall with command strips, you don't have to move them to open the cedar chest.
Oh,
is my point, because you could probably fit 2 on this wall. It's both for the background of this and just to have stuff on the walls.
Well, there's something there.
And hang my art so I'm just sitting in a pile in the basement. Because you could move that one somewhere, and then you could probably fit 4 on that wall. 2 up, 2 down. And then you could put 1 in this corner, and then 1 in that corner, or vice versa. You could easily fit 2 on this wall. Maybe even 3. But...
it's going to be so cluttered.
No. It's like an accent wall. But that was my pitch. We'll
see.
But yeah, so it's a work in progress in this makeshift recording studio we have. That is also...
Well, this is hiding all the crap that you left out here.
That is also our living room. I didn't leave anything out here.
Yes, you did. You didn't clean up anything.
No such thing.
It's all right there on the couch next to me.
No such thing. That's made up.
Including a salt shaker.
That's made up. That's all accusations that I don't...
I'll move the thing and everyone can see your pile of shit.
No.
Sitting next to me.
None
of that is mine.
That is lies and slander. Chicaderous and deplorable.
And there's a charger, but I didn't move that because it was so small.
Well, you can't see it.
It's so small. I didn't care about that.
There's also a charger for my Nielsen...
You're not allowed to talk about it. How dare you? All their paperwork says you should not talk about it.
I didn't talk about it. All I said was I have it.
You're supposed to...
They don't know what that is.
The paperwork says you should say it's a pedometer. They're going to come find you.
Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and make sure you have notifications turned on so you get all of our new episodes on YouTube. If you're listening to this, rate, comment, review, whatever the wordage is for listening.
I don't know. I feel like every app is different.
Every app is different. It changes,
but even like...
It changes all the time. Like I said on YouTube, I'm still saying like and subscribe, whereas...
Click the bell.
Well, so it used to be like and subscribe and click the bell icon, say punch that bell, punch that notification bell, whatever. And like every Good Mythical Morning used to end with like, thanks for liking and subscribing or whatever. You know what time it is. Whereas now it's thanks for commenting and sharing. So I don't know, like, is the algorithm more now pushing things that have comments and shares? I don't know.
Maybe that's how they stay more. You gotta comment and share, not just
I don't know.
And subscribe.
But like, comment, share.
Do all of it.
Do all of it.
Whatever you can do.
Do everything you can do.
Hit every button except for the thumbs down. To
get people to listen to and or watch our show. If you're into my art that is not... Like, let me know on that thing. I don't like it right now. But if you like it, let me know.
You don't like any of them. So.
I know. Not true. I have some sitting right here. I have yet to film them for my ongoing series of showing off my artwork until I find an audience, which I'm posting on TikTok and Blue Sky and Instagram.
What even is that?
It's essentially...
Twitter?
It's essentially Twitter and Threads for people who aren't pieces of shit. Because Twitter is just like a Nazi breeding ground now.
Had Twitter.
And Threads is owned by Mark Zuckerberg, who's a fucking asshole, and X is owned by Elon Musk, asshole. So people who are like, I don't want to support these pieces of shit, but I still want this kind of social media.
Oh.
Is Blue Sky.
Well, I didn't really care for Twitter even when it was normal. So
I never used Twitter. I got it like 2011, and I never used it except for at midnight's hashtag wars.
I had it, but I
had Threads when that came out, but again, I only really have... I'm more active on Blue Sky than I thought I was going to be.
Threads was stupid.
I only got Threads... I only really got Threads and Blue Sky for like this, for my art and for the podcast, because you need to be relevant on social media.
No one's using it.
Lots of people are using it. Lots of people are using it. But anyways, check out, if you're into my art, check out our TikTok and our Instagram and our Blue Sky account. They're all the friends you keep. But you say I don't like my art pieces. This is my favorite one I've ever done. My charcoal pieces
So you have one that you like?
No, my charcoal pieces are phenomenal. This is my favorite one I've ever done. I don't know why. I like it a lot. I think it's because it's got the shadows and everything else in it. This is one of the oldest ones I've done. I like this one a lot. Very simple.
Oh, it's Deadpool.
Very Deadpool. I like it a lot.
I couldn't see from the back.
I like this one a lot.
Is that Mortimer?
It's Oswald.
Oswald. Why do I want to call him Mortimer?
It's Oswald.
Is Mortimer the Mickey original?
Yes.
Okay.
Mickey's original name, and in later shows he was Mickey's neighbor. I like this one. It's horrifying, I think. But I like it. Started as I was doing watercolor, and then wanted to... No, well, it did bleed a little bit, but wherever it bled, I went to like wipe it with a paper towel to kind of get rid of it, and then it turned into this, and then I was like, oh, I kind of like this. So then I did it everywhere. And I like it a lot. It looks horrifying to me, but I like it. That was from the Deadpool one's from 2017. Just to throw that out there.
Oh.
They have dates on them. This is from 2022. Another one of my favorites. Another one of my favorites. Weird that both of them are The Simpsons, but like I love these pieces. I think they're phenomenal. And this one, I thought about painting it again.
Oh no, I like that one.
To fill in these colors, but I like how you can see through them. Marvin the Martian. Hello.
Maybe Tony wants that one.
He does like that one a lot. He said he wants it. Thanks for coming to my Bob Ross hour. Yeah. Like, subscribe. Thank you for joining us. Follow us on social media. We love you. And as always, thank you for being a friend.